knitters, welcome to Carry On Podcast. I believe this is episode 10 in all. Wow. And this is going to be segment 2 of color. So we're going to work on talking more about color as continued in our last podcast. Terry's going to start out for us on this. And
yes,
take it away, Terry.
We are going to start, we briefly talked about marling and fading, and so we're going to do a little bit about that right now. So marling and fading are pretty similar. You could do a marled fade, which is pretty almost like the same thing. So marling, as we said before, was when you take two colors of yarn, and they're usually very contrast yarn, so like a dark and a light, and then you put them together, and that makes a different fabric or a different color. So you could do that with all kinds of different yarns. You can even marl with like a mohair, you can marl, and a merino. You can marl with a bunch of different things, and you'll have different effects. So a good example of marling is a lot of Stephen West patterns. He does a lot of marling. A couple years ago, he did like the marled cardigan and the marled sweater and the marled leggings, which is really cool. And I'll put some pictures up here. But especially the marled leggings, I thought were pretty cool. But that's talk about being on Sleeve Island forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're doing your legs, right?
Yeah.
So take a while. That's gonna be a long sleeves, long sleeves. But anyway, so he has a lot of marled things. But this is the LaPouf sweater that I've been working on, and this would be considered a marled fade. Is that up there? You can see.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm done with the body. Now, the reason why I call it a marled fade is because I use two yarns, two separate colors at the same time when I was fading. So I use this main color and then the oracle color, and then I made a marl right here because I was using two yarns, two colors, this color and this color at the same time. So this is the marl right here.
Right.
And then here's the oracle color, and then the peanut butter and jelly color, and then this is it marled right here.
Can you bring it a little bit closer?
Yeah. So
okay.
Here's the oracle, here's the marling, and then here's the actual color right here by itself. And then I did it here too. So the marling is because I held two colors together to make it a different color itself.
Right. So it doesn't matter whether your yarn is solid, tonal, speckled, whatever. You can marl with anything, any two combos color. It could be white and black, which is probably what people first think of when they think of
like this
marling.
Like this, I've shown this before. This, here's a better side of it, but you can see in this brioche that this is a marled color because I use two different.
Kind of dark. It's hard to see that, but yeah.
Okay, sorry. But that's what I used for this, was like I marled it together.
Okay.
And the reason why it's a fade, not obviously, but the reason why it's a fade is because it goes from this color and it fades into the next.
Right.
Which leads us into fading, here's another example of fading. Now, this is not considered a marled because I did not hold two yarns together.
Right.
So I didn't marl them. And you can see, like, here's another one. And this is a good one to show like the color change in this. And you can see that I did not marl this because you could see there's one color right there.
Yeah.
And then there's the lighter color. And then there's the darker, lighter. And then this, and then down here, it's even more pronounced. You can see the darker and the light, and I didn't hold it together, so it's not considered marled because I didn't hold two together. But
so that's a good example of fading. So tell them what fading is.
I didn't really say a good definition of fading, but I would consider a fading is taking one separate color and combining them right like in this area to transition into a different color. So like with this is the So Faded sweater by Andrea Mowry. And the way that she has it is like you have your first color and then you put one row and then you do 2 rows of color A and then 2 rows of color B. You eventually bring it in until you're doing one.
So basically you're fading out one color slowly.
You're fading out one color, transitioning to another color.
Right.
And that's what this is. I don't know, you can kind of see it a little bit better, the fade like this.
Yeah, I love that one. And a lot of times it's from lighter.
It's a lot. Yeah, a lot of times it's lighter to darker. And it's just my opinion, but I think fades look better if the pearl side is showing. It seems a little more seamless to me instead of having
not as stripy.
Yeah, it's not as striking. Like this, you can kind of see it a little bit more right here. Yeah, it's not as striping. So, but see, with this, it's a better fade right here, and you can see it kind of go up. It's not as striking as like, so like this is the Find Your Fade or a Comfort Fade. And this is pretty striking, but I didn't mind it being really striking. It didn't bother me too much. But
I like it. That's what some people want, that effect, and some people don't. But it just depends on your color choices. You can get that effect, or you can avoid that effect. And how to avoid that effect is to not use as much solid or tonals. You would dip into speckles with speckles.
So this is pretty pronounced, but then this is the pearl side, and then this is the inside of the sweater. And so it is very, you can kind of tell that it is very more striking.
It's more pronounced on the stockinette side.
In the stockinette side.
Right. I agree.
So, and that's why this sweater I wear with I could wear it either way though if I wanted to. The way that this
it's kind of reversible, right?
It's almost, it's reversible. Definitely reversible.
That's fun.
So it's kind of reversible. I mean, you can, except like I have the little things on it. I didn't weave in all the ends because I was like, I want to wear it. So, but I like this sweater. I've done quite a few fades in my knitting lifetime. I was way into it. I still am into them. I mean, because I'm doing the LaPouf sweater, so. So I'm almost done with this one.
I think fades are here to stay.
Yes, I think fades are here to stay.
Fades are not a fad.
So if you're interested in fades, like there's tons of designers who are out there. I would say I like the way that Beata Jessic, who did this pattern, the LaPouf, I like it a little bit more because it's marled, because I'm using the 2 and it looks less striking, I guess you could say. Less, it looks more
flush.
Yeah, it doesn't look very striking or, I keep saying striking, but pronounced, that's a better word. It doesn't look as pronounced. I kind of like this one a little bit more than.
I like that technique a lot.
Yeah, I like the Marled Fade a lot. Instead of, because this, you don't have to wear it pearl side. Like this is the pearl side. And I like it better this way.
Right.
So.
And you can do that. You can do that on your own in any kind of pattern.
Right.
Like anytime you want to change color, like your pattern, guys, your pattern doesn't have to say marl it or fade it or whatever. You can
Right.
paint your own palette. And that's one reason we're doing the color segment, so you guys can get creative with how you want to do your knits.
Exactly. And I like that you can make, like you said, your own color.
Right. It's fun.
So that is a good transition into color.
Color. So here's our friend, the color wheel. Color wheels are awesome, you guys. So they have tiny color wheels. You can actually just get a little mini one and stick it in your bag if you are shopping at the yarn store. This obviously this is for mixing colors, right? For usually made for a painter who is blending colors in their paints. So we're not gonna go over hue and tint, but there are some basic fun things that you can use. I feel like this side is more useful for the knitters. The back side of your color wheel. So we all know the primary colors, right?
Yes, red, blue, and yellow.
Yep. So they're primary colors.
Like,
yeah, in kindergarten we learned that
we're in there.
You can't mix those colors to make them up. They just are what they are.
Yes.
Okay, so secondary colors are colors that you make using the primary colors. So that would be orange, violet, and green. So those are secondary colors.
Right.
We're not blowing anybody's mind yet, but at least I'm not. So warm colors. Warm colors are the reds, the oranges,
yellow.
and yellows are considered warm as well. The cool colors are, when I think of cool colors, my mind always goes to the beach. I think
right.
Blues and greens and violets too. It's kind of fun because I don't know, if you think of a sunset, you can see warm colors or blue color or cool colors depending on what the cloud patterns are like or the days like.
Right.
Which is just completely random, but my brain went there. So on the back of your color wheel, and the color wheel will have totally spelled out for you how to use it and what you can do with it. Okay. The front is more for mixing colors, like if you're a painter. It'll go through. So what I'll talk about next, and what I use a lot for my shawls and when I help people build shawls at the shop and go with their colors, is the complementary colors. Not everybody completely knows what those are, but what it is it's the opposite of what's on the color wheel. Okay, so the complementary color will be directly across from you on the color wheel. So example, green, okay, here. It's complementary is red. Okay.
It's colors.
Yes, and that's what my brain goes to. And of all the complementary colors, those are probably the two I avoid the most.
Yeah, I don't like red and
green. Because it's not my jam. It's not my palette. But if you take it down, right? If we go like this, and here you're getting into tint and tone, but on the color wheel, it goes through the shades, right? Obviously not every shade, but it goes through shades. So this shade of green, closer in, could be more your thing with the, where I am, red.
Right.
Right. So just because it doesn't have to be bright green, bright red. If you take it to a more muted, right? So a muted is something that has had more black added to it. Okay, it's darker, right? Then that could be your thing. The one I like to use a lot is blue and orange are complementary to each other on the wheel. Blue, orange. That, and if you example of complementary colors is look at sports teams, okay?
Right.
So sports teams and sometimes high schools, but more professional sports teams that's what they use is complementary colors. So, especially in football. Okay, so violet and yellow are the other complementary. Okay, so after complementary, I like to look, you can look at something called the Nagas Color. A Nagas Color is, you pick your main color, let's say, and then I'll just say violet. And it's the colors next to it on the color wheel, okay? And you can go either way on the color wheel. But if it's violet, right, you're talking about, and it's not opened up here to see totally, but so you can do a violet, and then you're gonna go to blue, violet, blue, and then you can keep going to green and so on, right? So our analogous are colors that touch each other on the color wheel, no matter what the hue or the is, right? So whatever shade it is. That's an incredible way to go with knitting because they go together. They do not clash, okay?
That's a good way to make a shade too.
Yes, yes. And we're not saying, I mean, we're not saying that you always have to go with colors that go together or whatnot. Like pops of color are fun. We're just giving you like a baseline of colors you can use. Like this yellow, and you go yellow, green, green, blue, green. That looks, take out the blue just for a minute. That looks great together.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then you're going to have something called, let me get an example here with, I guess, red. Triad. Tries 3. So you're like, I have a 3-color shawl or whatever you're going to make, right? Doesn't matter. A hat, whatever. You're like, I need 3 colors that will look good together. They're going to complement each other. So if you pick your whatever color, red, right? Let's say. And then your triad, okay, will be here. It'll show you in a triangle, the triad, and that's pointing to blue and yellow. So red, blue, yellow. And then tetrad is the 4 colors that would complement each other. It's 4 colors, okay? So if you're looking at the color wheel, it'll make a rectangle on it. So Terry has a good example. So we're going violet, okay? So if I turn to violet on one of the corners, it'll show me complementaries of that. Okay?
Right.
So in the center, there's a rectangle. So the complementaries of that is orange, okay?
Okay.
Yellow.
Okay.
It's also, so yeah, keep going.
Okay,
so
also we got purple, and then it fades into a lighter purple.
That's beautiful.
And then it fades into a light. But you could, I don't know if you can tell, but there's oranges in here.
There is. Yeah, keep going. You have more orange.
And then it fades again.
It's like a gold.
And then it fades into the golden.
That's beautiful.
And then into just some random.
Love it. So what Terry did is she hit on these right here. See, so she did. It's complementary colors, but it's also, so she did these 2 on that square.
Right.
Because if you think about it, the purples and the oranges is right next to the yellow. So the orange is next to the yellow. So it works. Like purple and orange work together, basically.
So if you look at these, let me see if I can do this a little bit better. So when I wear this golden and the purple kind of sit next really close to each other. I don't know.
It looks great together.
So when I wear it, I'll put it on. I've been watching Stephen West and how he wears his shawls. So let me see if I can do it. So he goes like this. He puts that part there, and then he goes like this, and like this.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of see, I can stand up a little bit better. You can kind of see the golden. And then when I'm standing, it sits like that. So it's actually pretty complimentary when you wear it.
Completely.
The golden and the purple. So I love it. It's one of my favorite things I've ever made.
I love it. That's one of my favorite ways to wear a shawl as well. How you just wrapped it right there.
Yeah, right.
So it's fun to have a color wheel. Get yourself a mini color wheel, I would say.
Yeah. And this is all ties into what we were saying, that knitting is art.
Yes.
And people are like, oh, it's a craft, but they call it arts and crafts for a reason.
Right.
It is a craft, but I would have to say that there are ways to make your knitting look like poop.
Great. That'll be our next episode.
You don't want it to look like poop. You want it to be beautiful and wearable and lovely. I mean, at least for me, I want to be able to wear it, and I want to be able to love it, so that I spent hours and hours in. This took a long time to make. But I love it because the colors are complementary. I think that it's something that I just love it. I just love wearing it. And that's what I'm saying, is that art, I know I'm kind of rambling, but because I made it beautiful, and it took me a long time to find the colors that I wanted for the shawl, and that I tried really hard to find what I wanted. So in a way, it is my palette, the way that I chose it. And I'm probably going to cut all this out because it's random.
It is your palette, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it is my palette. It's my color palette. And I think your color palette is very important. And it is an art. It is. You do have to look, and you do have to, and that's why it's hard to find stuff online. That going to a yarn store or going to a even like the like Stitches or a festival or something where you can grab stuff. And like what I usually do is when I go to Stitches or a yarn store, if I have a skein of yarn that I'm not sure of, this example that we were talking about earlier, if I'm not sure, then I will bring that skein with me so that I could compare and hold them together and be like, yes, this is going to work. Because you can't really remember color. Remember we were talking about this. You can't really remember color. And a good example of that is I have this, and I was on Ravelry, which I spend way too much time on Ravelry. And I just sit there and I put together sweaters in my head. And I know that I have enough yarn for the sweater, but I was looking at this and I thought this was darker than what it is. I thought it was like a dark, but this is more like a light or a dark gray, but I thought it was a light black before. I thought it was darker than this. And so when I pulled it out, I was thinking, oh, this is a lot lighter than what I thought. So I can't do the sweater that I was thinking about doing it with. So now I got to rethink. But does that make sense? Or is that rambly? I feel like that's a little rambly.
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about because it's your color palette. Okay, art. It is art. For us, that's not up for debate. Knitting is art.
Right.
And, a lot of thought goes into what we pick for colors, what we pick for pattern. It's a whole thing to marry a pattern with the colors.
Right.
And it's not, you and I particular about that. Not everybody is. You don't have to be. People make beautiful things and they just do it from their stash or whatever. You and I are quite a bit more meticulous about it than probably most people.
Yeah.
But that's part of what we like to do.
Right.
And we're not going to use.
Yeah.
Yes, we're not going to use the skein just because we have it and we're 3/4 through a project and we're like, whatever, I'll just use this. That's not what. Right. And it's okay if you do that. We're just not. We are meticulous about it. So I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm kind of rambling about it. Sorry.
Yes, neutrals. Neutrals are defined as a color or a hue that's unsaturated. So neutrals are whites, browns, grays.
Blacks. Is black a neutral?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Even though I don't know the technical term if it is, I consider black a neutral.
I would consider black a neutral.
I consider brown a neutral. And gray. Any of the eggshell colors.
Yeah, eggshell.
All that. Beige, tan.
Right.
So neutrals will make your other colors come out more.
Right. It's
if
like
you're stuck, try a neutral in there that complements.
Right.
So I mean I think everybody knows what neutrals are.
Like that's what I
consider black and neutral, but
like
yeah, like you have some cream or something in there.
Yeah, this is the cream that I used for
the good buffer in between colors
so that it went. I think it right. Turned out pretty well.
So I mean, you guys know what neutrals are.
This is too warm today.
It rained here, my house.
It's raining right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the rain.
This is see how it makes this color pop. That's what you're
totally
talking about. So it made this color pop.
Yes, I'm in love with your shawl now.
I love this shawl a lot.
Have I seen you wear that one? I don't know if I've seen you wear it.
I don't know. I don't know why I don't wear it more.
I love it. I mean, I don't have a favorite color, believe it or not. I go through colors with different moods.
Mm-hmm.
And
then because then it has different colors, you know, like one day you'll be like into the gold and the next day you're into the purple. So you could totally make it.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Ugh. Okay.
Okay.
Next.
So color, that's our color.
That's pretty much our color thing.
And just a reminder to everybody, we are doing on Monday, the June 1st, we are doing the Instagram live cast on because I'm going to be casting on. So.
Yep. At noon.
At noon.
Lunchtime cast on.
Lunchtime cast on.
Bring your yarn.
Yes.
Bring your needles. Bring your pattern.
It'll be fun. I hope we get a couple people on there at least. I think a couple of our friends are going to do it.
And if not, you and I will have fun.
Yes.
Sometimes timing doesn't work out for everybody, but we have some people to talk to. So come on over. All right, you ready to sign off?
Yes, let's sign off.
Oh wait, I got something else.
Oh, okay.
Uno más.
Uno más.
This is from my husband. I've actually had these for a while, but I haven't shown them yet. I forgot about them for a little bit, but.
Oh, that's freaking awesome. Where'd you get those?
I don't know where he got them.
That's so cool. Where are you going to put that? On your car?
My next tattoo.
That'd be no, I'm not joking. I would think you were super cool.
I don't know where I'm going to put their stickers. Say that again?
I said, if you had those on your, I think you're super cool and I'd want to be your best friend.
I might let you.
Okay.
Probably on my car, but I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Awesome.
But isn't that cute? He got that just like totally randomly. Yes, I like those. Those are fun.
Love it.
Fun. I got a lot of knitting to do.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay, so say goodbye now.
Yes. So we can get.
All right, you guys. Thanks for joining us. Episode 10.
Yes. You can find you, Heather.
You can find me at Notorious One on Instagram and Taurus-1 on Ravelry. Terry?
You can find me at Lola Knits on Ravelry and on Instagram. Sorry. I was like, what is that?
Nice. You guys, if you
and
had fun.
Find us on Instagram at Carry On Podcast as well.
Yes.
And I'll put all the links in the box.
Like and subscribe for us. That helps us out. And nothing else. I don't know what the and was, but keep knitting. Have fun, guys.
Bye.
See you.